Hello, David Hancock from Natural Area Nursery. We're here in Perth in Western Australia, in some local Perth bushland to talk about propagation. And I'm putting together this little bit of footage for the International Plant Propagator Society, of which I'm a member. And of course, whilst we're stuck in this COVID and limited travel situation, there's IPPS members all around the world that are putting together videos to share some information in relation to what they grow and to pursue the motto of IPPS, meaning to seek and share information in relation to growing plants. The reason that I've come down to some bushland here in Perth is to demonstrate that this is where our propagation work begins. This is at the heart of what we do and what singles us out as being a little bit different from the way that people often grow plants. So in areas like this and out into the regions, into the mining areas, we collect seed and cuttings material for the propagation of endemic Western Australian plants for revegetation, restoration work, and also to assist landscapers in returning West Australian plants to their local environments. This is where it all begins, and we have to train and develop people that know, of course, the suite of plants that we collect from, of which there are, of course, many thousands of species in Western Australia, and some 70-odd% of these are endemic and only found in WA. So the skill set of our people is really quite unique in that sense, that they can identify the species and know when to collect the seed, the proper way to collect and process that seed, and then we return that to the nursery to meet the needs of our customers and our revegetation projects. So after this video, we'll move on to other aspects of how we prepare these seeds for propagation and provide an outline of some of the unique species that we produce. We've moved on from the bushland, and what happens with seeds once they've been collected, they move into a specialist drying area. This is somewhere that needs to be warm, safe from vermin, and kept in a dry state until such time as the seeds can be put into a secondary processing system. So we engage some well specialised equipment to process the seed, to break the seeds out of shells, and to sieve the seeds to the point where we can do something with them. So we have some examples here of various seeds that have been through processing and now are in the hands of the propagators to move on to undertake some treatments. So the specialist area of collection has moved on to the specialist area of processing, and now we're into the very specialist area of seed treatments. Now this is part of the science that's been developed by our staff over the years, our team of propagators, and this brings their expertise to the fore to achieve germination. The issues with many of our bushland plants is the fact that a lot of them are recalcitrant. They are seriously difficult to propagate in many cases. So what we're looking to do is to have the best outcomes that we can in terms of our germination, so we can produce the plants for high quality restoration and revegetation work, not only for our own projects within the natural area business, but also our customers that are demanding and wanting the hard to propagate plants. And this is a departure from what's often happened with native plant propagation in Western Australia. So over the years, by the use of techniques, by establishing our science and our database and testing and proving methods over time, we've been able to establish this expertise. So things like to aid germination can be smoked water. I've got a couple of props here, and we use things like enzymes. We use things like acids, gibberellic acid, H2SO4 as well, and we also use things like hydrogen peroxide at various strengths and what have you. There's some of these treatments are used in combination, and this is where the real secrets are unlocked. So you might be using refrigeration. I can't put a fridge out here at the moment, but we use that, and of course we use heating as well. We use various forms of soaking, and we use physical smoke to germinate some seeds in an enclosed environment. So these are the specialist techniques that have been developed, and this is our intellectual property that makes the difference for us. And you end up with results like this, which is this particular plant, Acanthocarbus pracei, is extremely difficult to propagate for most growers, and things like Lepidosperma gladiatum, again, most growers would find that really, really difficult to produce. We've moved on into the natural area nursery, or one part of it. The natural area nursery produces about 500 different species of Western Australian native plants for our customers and for our own projects. The focus, of course, as I mentioned, is on the more difficult to grow species. The total number of species, we're talking some years 400 or 500, 800 odd thousand plants. But the important part of this work, as far as propagation is concerned, is the proof's in the pudding here, and I've pulled a few examples out that I can mention. And if you were to discuss these species with people who know Western Australian plants as growers, or of people that are enthusiasts, you would find out just how difficult some of these plants are to grow, and some of them are quite spectacular in flower as well. But just a few examples: there's a Brachyoloma pracei here, the Calixtasia, the Star of Bethlehem is an outstanding plant. We have a Persoonia, very difficult to grow, a Caletrix as well. Hybertia hypericoides, very much sought after, difficult plant to grow, all from seed. Our Lepidosperma species, this is gladiatum, but we do 5 or 6 species of Lepidosperma. Sterlingia, which I don't know of another grower who's successfully done that from seed, and we grow things like Knightsia floribunda, which is the Western Australian native Christmas tree. And I'll draw particular attention to this one, which is a Lomandra maritima. This really brings it all together for me. The seed is extremely difficult to find, it is extremely difficult to germinate, and the plants are not easy to grow in nursery. And we've had an outstanding crop of that this year. And one to finish off, that is also very difficult to grow. Anything that's in the Astroloma genus, extremely difficult, but we have some success with those. So this brings us to an end of that of a short presentation on propagation from seed, and at our next occasion we'll look to move on and talk about the production side of what happens in the nursery. Thank you.